So if you'll say, well, yeah, but Mormonism teaches X, a lot of your Mormon friends will say, no, it doesn't. Well, actually, I don't know that it does. And I think at some point, if you were to say, well, here's what Joseph taught about certain theological principles, they would say, well, we don't believe any of that. They don't believe that polygamy is ordained by God. They don't believe in a plurality of gods. Joseph started to believe all these things and wrote about these in scripture. So I always say, well, if you're going to abandon the Jesus described by Joseph, how about just abandoning Joseph? Like, you don't need Joseph to know Jesus. So grace, for example, is one of these key areas. And here's how I typically describe it to students when I'm training them in this area. Grace under Christianity is that Jesus, as a free gift, provides you a salvation you cannot earn on your own. Grace under Mormonism is the power that God gives you to obey the law. Here's what I mean. If you talk to your Mormon friends, they said, okay, I'm on planet Earth and God is in heaven. How do I get to God in heaven? They'll say, well, it's only through Jesus. Okay, well, we agree with that, but drill down on this. By the way, the word heaven is negotiable. When we say heaven, we're thinking about being in the presence of Jesus the minute we close our eyes. They're thinking about the three levels of heaven: celestial, terrestrial, and celestial kingdom. So you have to be very specific. I always say, how do you get the highest level of eternity that God offers you? Now, that's celestial kingdom under their system, because everyone's going to be in celestial kingdom. It's celestial kingdom is the highest. For us, it's just called heaven. So you have to be very clear when you say heaven, you're talking about celestial kingdom. How do you get there? Well, here's what they would say. Under Mormonism, you're on earth. God is in celestial kingdom. If you want to be there with him, Jesus comes to you. So it's true. Without Jesus, you can't get there. And he gives you a ladder. Your job is to climb the ladder. So you could rightly say that except for the grace of Jesus, you could never be with the Father, because he's the one who comes to give you the ladder. But it turns out you have to climb the ladder in your own good works. Under Christianity, Jesus doesn't give you a ladder. He drops down on a rope, and while you're kicking and screaming, he pulls you up anyway. That is the grace that's offered under Christianity. There's nothing you can do. As a matter of fact, on your own, you're a rebellious mess. Grace is very different under these two systems. And that difference is absolutely critical. I'll give you why. If you're a ladder climber, I guarantee you're going to start looking at other ladder climbers. And you're going to go, you know what? I'm climbing this ladder better than they are. And this is why you'll see sometimes Mormon influencers who are they proclaim the virtues of their family, because I've seen it over and over again. There's this comparison between how well are you doing. Also, remember, under our system, you can know right now that you are saved. You see it in our scripture. Paul describes us as citizens today.